want to say welcome and good morning to everyone this morning. Welcome to the breakfast hour. It is indeed January 20. Are we dating this one, Lady Elise? The 20th day of January 2026. This month has been a very interesting one. It has started very slow and is going very fast. It started in a sense that people said it was Thursday when it began, and if Thursday, what made Thursday special was because it began the new year. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning to our listeners and viewers. If you see me and I look a little bit, I wouldn't say the word distracted. I am
Chilly,
sharing.
chilly
Uh,
or cold?
huh?
Chilly or cold?
No, I'm not chilling. I mean, I'm looking. I am actually sharing the link with listeners, viewers, and of course the colleagues in the Flashpoint Media team, because we don't do this alone. It is a strong team that is navigating, and I want to say happy new year for those who I have not seen since last year. And I want to, of course, say morning to everybody. We have some listeners up in Canada. I won't say where in Canada, but good morning to you if you are warm or if you're cold. Variety is the spice of life, Mikey G.
Yes, life is colder this time of the year, and many persons are actually enjoying it. Some persons are,
Yes.
and definitely some people are not. For some persons, they are snowbirds, and they like the idea of having a cool time because they don't get enough cold time. Me, I can't wait for the time to be warm because I like it warm. I don't mind the cold sometimes, but I do not like it all the time. So yeah, if I'm outside and the cold is outside and I escape it and go inside, I don't want to feel it in there. That's me. I want to turn off. So, I want to say, for those who are like me, big up yourself. For those who are not like me, still big up yourself.
I will say this. I will say this. We have been having a little lower temperatures here in the Grand K. We have been enjoying it. It's a kind of weather that makes you feel a little bit chill. However, if you're used to this sort of weather, it is just business as usual. For those of us who want to have to go to work, we are off to work like nothing. You just need to go. But I am enjoying it. I went out to walk this morning and I walked with a jacket on. I guess I was just exaggerating a bit, but I am enjoying the little lower temperatures here in the Cayman Islands. We have been having some rain as well.
Mm.
Liquid sunshine this morning. It's a wet, rainy morning, but it's a beautiful morning, 20th of January 2026. And we say welcome to you to the breakfast hour. If you're on TikTok, we say morning, welcome, welcome. YouTube, Facebook, everywhere you are. And if you have just hopped on, just give us a like and, of course, share with your friends and family members wherever they are. We have a lot in store, so let's get cracking, Mikey G.
All right. So, without any further ado, Lady Elise, of course, a word from our sponsors this morning.
One and Up now has ARA, DHA, and prebiotics. It's a new, smarter formula. The time by Lasco One and Up is
The time by Lasco One and Up is 7:59 in the AM right here in the Grand K.
And of course, it's time for a devotional by the lady Mrs. Susan Long this morning.
Good morning. This is day 20. Mephibosheth shall eat at my table like one of the king's sons. 2 Samuel chapter 9 verse 11. Greatly valued, written by Dave Brannon. A British factory worker and his wife were excited when, after many years of marriage, they discovered they were going to have their first child. According to author Jill Briscoe, who told this story, the man eagerly told his fellow workers that God had answered his prayers. But they made fun of him for asking God for a child. When the baby was born, he was diagnosed with Down syndrome. As the father made his way to work for the first time after the birth, he wondered how to face his co-workers. God, please give me wisdom, he prayed. Just as he feared, some mocked. So God gave you this child. The new father stood for a long time, silently asking God for help. At last, he said, I'm glad the Lord gave this child to me and not to you. As this man accepted his disabled son as God's gift to him, so David was pleased to show kindness to Jonathan's son, who was lame in his feet. Some may have disregarded Mephibosheth because he was lame or because he was from Saul's household. But David's action showed that he valued him greatly. In God's eyes, every person is important. He sent his only son to die for us, each of us. May we remember with gratitude how much he values each human life. Lord, may we see in those we meet the imprint of your image fair, and may their special dignity grow stronger from our love and care. Our quote this morning reads, everyone is valuable to God. End quote.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Alright, good morning again. Of course, welcome back. It is indeed a beautiful morning right here in Grand K. Of course, the
It
devotional
is a
speaks volume this morning.
It's a beautiful morning, Mike G. And I'll ask the question, is there a reason why we would start the morning with a devotional? There are so many things to do. There is news to read. There are so many things that's happening in our world and beyond our shores. And, on social media, I believe we are sometimes overwhelmed with the sheer volume of content. And of such, you will notice that short clips are much more popular than long form video. But where's the substance, and where's the meat, and where's the foundation? And I am happy that, of course, as a team here at Flashpoint Media, we know where is ground zero. We know where we start from. We know where we build from. It's not all about the likes and the followers. Oh, we like you to still, and the subscribers. We are certainly happy that you have chosen to join us this morning. And of course, I must say a special good morning to Sister Lucy over there in St. Lucia.
Lucia.
All of our listeners and VIPs, good morning. Welcome to the breakfast hour.
Lady Alicia, this morning I was listening to a short presentation by Lady Miss Paulette Wright Paul this morning. And one of part of that conversation was mind control. The exposure to social media and how the newer technology is seeking to link itself with the human brain and allow us to be connected to the device that you can
Yeah.
upload and download stuff from the mind into the mind from a computer device. Now, this is something that is very interesting, and people are now saying it is a way to go because at least you learn more. But not only that, and of course, they can solve more problems in terms of health in the human body. But then, when it comes down to your own thoughts, they're not yours. And so, what does that mean? For the persons who believe in the Christian faith, you're going to be seen as somebody who is backward and somewhat, well, backward is a word, and totally uncivilized because you're not hooked up to the device. And so this is where everybody wants everybody to go, and it's being sold as the best option that you should be actually hooked up to the device, that everyone can be linked together, and basically we can think the same things. We can talk to each other in terms of telepathic. We are talking about telepathic communication long time ago and exploring the idea. Now we have found the easiest way to link it. You don't have to have telepathic communication abilities anymore. All you have to do is to link to the device, the computer, and it will allow you to be linked with everybody else.
I remember when we thought about concepts like this years ago, as you mentioned, and you wondered if it's something that is even possible, and every time the boundaries are just being shifted and shifted and shifted, and it's good to be in a position of knowledge and know your surrounding and know what's happening to around us. Now it is breakfast hour time. Welcome. I want you to drop in the chat. I'm looking at the chat as we speak. I'm very attentive. Let us know where you're joining us from and what's happening in your neck of the woods. It is nice and sunny. I was speaking to a few persons in Jamaica, Mikey G, and realizing that there are still quite a few persons in Western Jamaica who are still without electricity. So we are, some of our viewers and listeners aren't able to connect as much as they would normally connect because they are still waiting patiently for access to electricity. What would we do without these basic things? How would you survive, Mikey G, if you had no access to electricity or running water for an extended period? Now, the hurricane struck in late October, so you're talking about November, December, 2 full months, and now you're in January. How are you coping? How does life feel? Country living is something we talk about, on and off, the here and there, but what does it really look like to connect? We were just talking about technology and devices. What if you didn't have access to your device today? How would you survive? I know you probably wouldn't be able to be connected to Flashpoint, but how would you manage your day-to-day activity? How? It's something worth thinking about.
No, Lady Lisa, a question was asked this morning, and I listened to the question. If you had turned off your device for a week, who would basically be looking for you if they didn't hear from you for 1 week? If you should turn off your device and didn't call anyone for a week, who would be looking for you? That's a question that was posed this morning for me. That's a question for me this morning. Very interesting technology. Of course, it's time for news, and of course, our news is brought to us by Lasco. Of course, and we will be coming right back with you. Of course, our news anchor, Lady Cordy Karen, is standing by.
One and Up now has ARA, DHA, and prebiotics. It's a new, smarter formula. The time by Lasco One and Up is...
It's 10 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock, right here in the Grand K.
Good morning. Here are the top stories making headlines on Flashpoint Radio. I'm Corley Karen. Star Clipper makes historic inaugural call to Cayman Brac. Cayman Brac marked a milestone in its cruise tourism history this month with the successful inaugural visit of the sailing vessel Star Clipper, bringing more than 100 passengers to the island and generating strong economic activity. The ship arrived on Thursday, January 15th, carrying 104 passengers and 72 crew members. Many came ashore at Saint-Tropez, also known as Scott's Dock, where residents gathered to welcome the vessel, describing the occasion as a proud moment for the island. Passengers were greeted with a craft and vendor market organized by the Cayman Brac Heritage House, where local artisans showcased handmade goods and traditional crafts. Organizers reported strong demand, with many vendors selling out by the end of the day. Visitors also enjoyed live music, local food, island tours, beach transfers, and snorkeling, while others explored independently by renting cars and scooters. District Administration's Marketing and Promotions Manager and On-Island Cruise Coordinator, Shivala Burke, described the visit as a clear success, praising the collaboration between the community, vendors, musicians, tour operators, and government partners. Minister for District Administration and Home Affairs, Nicholas DaCosta, who led the official welcome, said the smooth operations reflected Cayman Brac's readiness to deliver a high-quality visitor experience while maintaining its unique character. District Commissioner Mark Tibbetts and Port Manager Myra Ryan Ebanks echoed those sentiments, noting the strong economic benefits for local vendors and the smooth logistical handling of the visit. 2 further cruise calls are scheduled for Cayman Brac this year, including the Wild Surf in February and the SH Vega in May. Cayman prepares contingency plans amid concerns of possible Cuban immigrant influx. Governor Jane Owen says Cayman's security services are making contingency plans in response to concerns that instability in the region could lead to an increase in Cuban immigrants arriving in the islands. Speaking with the media, the governor said Cayman's National Security Council has been assessing the potential impact of recent developments in Venezuela, including the loss of oil and financial support to Cuba. She confirmed that the multi-agency Mass Migration Committee is scheduled to meet next week to review preparedness plans. Commissioner of Police Kurt Walton said the RCIPS, Coast Guards, and Customs and Border Control are working closely with regional partners to share intelligence and ensure readiness should migration levels increase. Governor Owen added that while regional tensions remain a concern, there are currently no short or medium-term threats to Cayman's shipping or air traffic. Cayman Cookout wraps up 5 days of food, culture, and celebration. The 17th annual Cayman Cookout has come to a close after hundreds of food lovers attended more than 70 events over 5 days. Hosted by the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman, the festival featured chefs and mixologists from around the world, offering demonstrations and culinary experiences in a relaxed island setting. Events such as the Barefoot Barbecue, Beach Bash at Rum Point, and the grand finale dinner were among the highlights, showcasing global flavors alongside Caymanian cuisine. Government ministers attending the festival praised its role in promoting local agriculture, food security, and Cayman's reputation as a world-class culinary destination. Organizers said this year's cookout placed a stronger focus on up-and-coming chefs and drink-focused events alongside established culinary stars. Trailer released for Caymanian filmmaker Frank E. Flowers' new film. Caymanian filmmaker Frank E. Flowers has released the trailer for his latest film, The Bluff, ahead of its debut on Amazon Prime Video on February 25th. The action-packed historical thriller stars Priyanka Chopra Jonas and tells a Caymanian story inspired by archival history, blending Caribbean heritage with large-scale cinematic production. Flowers says the project reflects his commitment to telling Caribbean stories, noting that while filming took place in Australia due to scale and infrastructure needs, great care was taken to authentically recreate Caymanian landscapes and culture. Regional and international headlines. In Guyana, authorities say border security has been strengthened following political upheaval in neighboring Venezuela. Officials report no unusual activity so far, but say vigilance remains high. Meanwhile, Guyana's president says the country is rapidly emerging as a premier tourist destination, citing major investments in infrastructure, safety, and hospitality. In Europe, tensions continue after US President Donald Trump renewed controversial statements regarding Greenland, prompting strong reactions from European leaders and renewed discussions within NATO and the European Union. Those were your news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. Continue to stay tuned for more updates throughout the day.
Welcome back everyone. News time at Flashpoint. There was so much in the news. Thank you, Coralie Karen, for that presentation of news for us this morning. It was indeed detailed enough for us to hear what's going on in the region and in the local community right here in the Grand K.
Very important, Mikey G. As we think about all the happenings, and sometimes it sends an alert and an alarm signal.
Sometimes a chill.
Sometimes a chill.
Yes, sometimes a chill.
It seems almost unreal to be living in this age and seeing all the things that are happening. The Bible said we should not get anxious, when we see and we look around.
Because your redemption draw at night.
Yes. But of course, we will use the opportunity now, Mikey G, to share with the listeners. Yesterday was celebrated as Martin Luther Day, yes. Martin Luther King Jr. And of course, we we are cognizant. We know the importance of history, and history is still teaching us lessons. And each time you come on the breakfast hour, you must learn something. There must be something that you would have learned from the interaction. So, of course, we are going to be sharing a feature in a moment.
Lady Elise, when you talk about history is usually, as the Ziggy Marley song would say, his story versus my story. So history is his story talked about the people of color, are in the sense persons who are blacks, so to speak. All right.
Yes.
So this is where it goes: blacks versus whites, and so this is where the whole thing get a little muddy, and it changes the conversation, because what is happening is you have inferiority and superiority being exposed in the whole context of what history is willing to tell the story. And so for most black people, we have always heard the story of slavery, and that's where it
Yeah.
all began. But they didn't tell you that the black people were kings and queens before
Right.
slavery, and then you want to erase that part of the history. Is my story of where originally people of power and character and civilization, where it started and who started civilization. All of those stories are being abandoned or being suppressed and are being placed underfoot. Here comes the civil rights movement, and we talked about civil rights in a little bit. And of course, many persons were activists. One of those many persons is our late and great Martin Luther King Jr. Also, the man called Malcolm X, as many persons who would say Minister Malcolm X, who would be a Muslim on one side of the civil rights movement, and
Right.
Dr. Martin Luther King would be a Christian on the other side of the civil rights movement, who shares two separate way of thinking about the way civil rights work. For Martin Luther King, he believes in the idea of non-violence and take back your time. On the other
Yes.
side, while Malcolm X did not preach violence, he preached the idea that if somebody attack you, you have the right to defend yourself, which is in fact, for me as a person and as a human being, knows that it is my life that is the most important, not yours. And so if you are trying to take mine, I must defend it. And if yours is lost in the process, that's so be it. But if you're trying to take my life, I should defend it with my life to stop you from taking mine. And that is for me a position that I am not, would say, preach violence against anyone, but I still stand in that position. I still also stand in the position of no violence. But if you choose to use violence, then violence will be the thing that defends me from you. And so that's how I think, and that's what I will take from it. So I have listened to the conversation on both sides of the fence, and I've listened to the civil rights movement, and we have seen where black people have been coming. Civil rights, as they say, is something that gives black people the right to be human beings, which means you're not really considered as human beings under even civil rights. So all these things are really a tricky kind of thing to look at it. Thinking about civil rights, what does any other color persons need civil rights except black people? That's the question, right? And if that's not true, if the other side of the fence don't need civil rights, why do I need civil rights? And that is the real question in the whole thing. Anyways, we're here to talk a little bit about our history and of course celebrate the man Martin Luther King. And what are some of the things that went on yesterday as the celebration continued? People had their, in terms of parades and all sorts of expressions, went out and they did a full celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. And what was very interesting is that this man was murdered just because he wanted the same thing that everybody should have. That's all it is. And so today we want to celebrate his life and to remind everyone that you must not forget that you must not give up so easily for someone to take from you what is yours. That's my bit in the whole saga of our history this morning.
Alright, so now it's time for our feature. Here we go.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
This is a CBS News special report.
Dan Rather reporting for CBS News from New York. The Reverend Martin.
Okay.
Reverend Martin Luther King has been assassinated, murdered, and killed because he wanted to have what everybody should have by right of just being a human being. And today it is similarly happening around. Persons are mistreated, and disrespected because of the color of your skin. And
What?
it is
You
everywhere
know,
right now. When you look around you, it is just evident that there are persons who still believe that persons who are of a different shade skin should not be respected as others. And that is a consensus that is happening. It is a tough thing to see, but it is actually as real and as alive as it was in 1963 with the great Martin Luther King Jr.
it is interesting. It is interesting, Mikey G. You know, I if I did not know that this is history, and if I had changed the
Mm.
video to reflect the red color in terms of the not black and white, uh, there, when it says there's nothing new under the sun, it's not a simple statement, because we are creating history right at this moment. We are living and we are creating history. And when we look and we see this conversation and that passion, though, Mikey G, it's something that we ought to have. He said, I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen, and
Well,
I'm fine. I don't know if I'll get there with you. I don't know.
well, this
You're certainly prepared for whatever would come next.
this kind of fashion is not being promoted these days and is very welcome in any society right
Yes.
now. In fact, if you are someone who speaks and convicted on a topic, people ridicule you or try to disrespect you or even dismiss you for being
Yeah.
what you call over zealous, or sometimes you must speak with your inside voice. That sort of thing. Quiet you down. You can't speak so loudly because we don't want to hear what you're saying. And this, even with the conviction of persons who claim the ideologies of saying that they are Christians, they don't want anyone to talk. If somebody is outside on the streets right now with a microphone and preaching the word of God, Christians themselves would go and say, "Shut up." That's just where it is right now. People of the same kind would say, "Shut up. What are you doing?" And that is a very bad thing to see, but it is where we are. And so it's not
Yeah.
very welcome. A Martin Luther King in this age with somebody who, well, he got shot in 1963. He possibly will be chopped to pieces in 2026. That's how I feel about it. And it wouldn't be by the persons who would have disliked him. It would have been the persons who are within the same crowd who he's trying to defend. In fact, if you should look at the history of all these civil rights leaders, they have all been cut down by the very same persons that they're fighting for in some way or another, or been behind the scenes or helping those who are trying to hurt them or to destroy them. They are the ones who are the most instrumental in getting the information that they need to do the damage that is being done to these civil rights leaders. Right? And
Yes.
so we have seen it. We have seen in our own country where we have persons who will be fighting for freedoms for their same Jamaicans or same persons within the country, and those are the same persons who went out and they find themselves aligned with those who were actually hunting the persons who were fighting against the oppression of the people at that time, and ensure that they were killed or executed at some point. So we have to see how much we have been the ones instrumental as the same color skin in the destruction of our own kind. And that's where it is. That's what we have to look at. And so we can't, with a straight face, not recognize that the enemies are not outside. In most cases, they are within. And so your enemies
Yes.
are sitting beside you saying, "Yeah, yeah," and they're the ones, while they say, "Yeah," have a dagger in the back to stab you in the back right away. That's what this looks like at all
Yeah,
levels.
there's a song that comes to mind, Mikey G. Only your friend know your secret, so you the cap fit, let them wear
Who the
it.
cap
That
fit,
one
let them wear it. Bob Marley. Yes.
yeah,
Great Honorable
so
Nesta
sometimes
Marley.
it's right up close and personal, but our thoughts and our prayers as we get ready to get out of studio is that we learn lessons. Yes, we learn lessons from our history. I hope you have enjoyed the conversation. We're keeping it nice and sweet today. But before we get out of studio, Mikey G, there's one more thing that I really do need to share with our listeners and our viewers this morning. Let's see if we can get this one up.
Get ready, Gabe and Alice. because the moment you've been waiting for is here. Cayman's Got Talent, the results show on January 31st. Join us live at 7 p.m. at Triple C 74 Fairbanks Road, Georgetown, Grand Cayman. Witness the excitement, witness the reveal, celebrate the anointing, the creativity, and the talent that took Cayman by storm. One stage, one night, one unforgettable experience. This is Flashpoint Media Production. For more information, call 345-321-6969. Don't miss it. Cayman's Got Talent, the results show.
All right, yeah. Cayman Got Talent coming up. Well, ladies, that's going to be an exciting evening. I think the last time we had a wonderful time, and we did showcase a lot of talents in the Cayman Islands, and it is not going to be a simple one this time. It's going to be interestingly sweet. For those who are planning to come, guys, get your tickets early because these tickets won't stay long. All right, Cayman Got Talent right here in the Grand Cay.
Yes, and of course, let me just quickly check the latest update, if I can, of the weather service, and then we will be getting ourselves ready to get out of here. Yes, so we expect cloudy conditions today. Let's see what our it says. Scattered showers today. Minimum of 74 degrees of Fahrenheit. And of course, there's a small craft advisory. We have rough seas with a wave height of 5 to 7 feet. So all small crafts, if you have a little fishing boat, then you need to not to be on the ocean this morning. You take shelter. I did have my beach walk this morning, and the waves are certainly waving. You know, I'm not sure if there will be any ship in port today, or if they would dock out by spots as they normally do when the seas are rough. So there you have it. Scattered showers throughout the day, according to the National Weather Service here in the Cayman Islands. Let us know what's happening in your neck of the woods. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Breakfast Hour.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say also add my quote of thank you for joining, and of course, see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place, when we do it all over again for you. Of course, today is indeed one of our most special days when we celebrate our history, and we are celebrating my history, not his story of what my history is. And so that's what we wanted to clarify this morning. Civil rights, is it a farce? What is it? Have yourself a God bless day, guys. For those who are Christians and claim the idea of Christianity, watch out for the AI technology that hooks you up to the machine, as you won't be thinking much longer for yourself, and you can't come to tell people that you know what you're saying, because you do not know what you're saying at that time. Right now we are having problems because we are being bombarded by so much screen time with so much bad information, and people are actually believing the lies that are being told on these bad information screens,
lies
right?
are more popular than truth, Mikey G.
Yes,
but that's another conversation.
And so that's why Flashpoint is here. We say we are the chlorine for the dirty water on the internet. And so we're going to be telling the truth every single time. Sometimes it don't sound good to you, but it is what it is. It's true every single time.
It is what it is.
So,
I want to say also, all our listeners, wherever you are, if you're in the Caribbean, St. Lucia, Jamaica, here in the Grand Cay, we really do appreciate your presence. Those joining us in the US and Canada, I want to encourage you as well, whenever you come on, let us know what's happening in your neck of the woods. Is it warm and sunny? It is raining right here in Georgetown, Grand Cay. Be careful on the roads are wet. Please join us tomorrow for the breakfast hour. And of course, our Weber radio is alive and well, www.flashpointmedia.ky. And of course, Connie J.E. joins us later for Just Before You Go Your Bed. Have yourself a wonderful, blessed day.
Remember, guys, to look out for our weekly news in review every single week, of course, by the same person, John and Connie J.E. We are coming from the Flashpoint Studios right here in the Grand Key. Alright, guys, have a good morning. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Have yourself a God bless one.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, we'll all sing better outside. Just us in the sky. I will go wherever, I'll be yours Are we part of this circus? Is it innate? Feels like a heavy burden, but I can't relate. Do our actions even matter? Or is this a fate? At least now I'm feeling better, I know I'm here to stay. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers
You're listening to Flashpoint, the family radio.
There are two things I do know right now. One, you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Number two, you ain't gonna keep it to yourself. Flashpoint Radio. Internet comes alive.